Hello, my friends, Evolutionary Energy Arts family. Guys, tell me if you could hear me, just because we've had so many freaking technical issues. Tell me you guys could hear me. Please say, I hear you.
Hello, testing, 1, 2, testing. Yeah, we've had some issues today. It's been a very busy day.
Oh my God, this morning it was a joke. It was back to what it was in North Carolina and a couple of times in Florida. Thank you guys for letting me know. Thank God you guys could hear me. It was wild because, shut my mic off. That's what they do. And, I rebooted the computer multiple times. I let it sit for half an hour. And I played with all sorts of settings. Everything looked fine, but this is what was happening before all the time. And, they watch you. They watch you. Make no mistake about it. I know some people think it's paranoid to think that you're being watched, but no, you are. We are living in 1984 Orwellian society, whether we realize it or not. Maybe it's even worse over in China. Yeah, for sure, it's worse over in China. But, hey, it's the same thing over here. Good to see you guys. Nicole, thank you for doing an awesome job, as you always do. Deep State Chronicles, thank you, brother, for showing up and keep an eye on everything over that way. Grizzly's in the house and already supporting. We love you, brother. Hitting you with a roar. Okay. We got to make this a habit or tradition. Cindy, you got to do a roar.
I'll do the roar. Watch your ears. Roar!
Okay, that was like a putty tat roar. Oh, yeah. Yeah, Nicole, I think you'd like Deep State. He's a good guy. He's ex-military. He keeps his eye on everything. He keeps me informed as well. And actually, we have a lot of ex-military. We have a lot of people that have seen action abroad, people that have seen some of the things that go down under the guise of war. And a lot of times, it's like it's not necessarily about taking out this quote-unquote bad guy. It's about getting rid of artifacts and wiping out our history so people don't know what's going on. There's cover-up on top of cover-up. That's what we have going on. And Joseph Calley, he says China's lying. Okay, there's two things there. China's either lying or maybe they really did release it and it's not hitting their population anymore. It's mutated and it's going to hit the NATO countries more, including the U.S. Perhaps? I don't know. We're trying to piece these things together. The one thing I think we all agree on is there's a much bigger picture. There's more than one motive going on because, this is not your average naturally occurring thing. We all agree on that, don't we?
Absolutely, and it's about us not separating or dogging other people who might believe something differently. This is what they do best. They divide and separate, and we can't be separated, but I do believe there's something that we need to be on guard for in this with this virus stuff.
Yeah, I see a lot of awake people out there. Okay, read Jack London's Unparalleled Invasion. Oh, that sounds so good. That really does sound good. I could really go for like a good book to distract you from reality until you wake up and realize that the book you're reading is reality or something along those lines.
Well, it's your perspective, yeah.
Pence was that way today, huh? Yeah. Joffrey wants to take a hot bath. I did already today. I had to start the day that way. As soon as I got the first video done, it's like, God, I got to clear my mind. I just got to clear my mind. Blue Skies, thanks for the channel. Well, thank you for being part of the family. And, the globalists, it most definitely, it's all right out there. And before we go into all the what's going on with the virus itself, I just wanted to cover some other bases because, I keep getting messages from you guys, so many different people out there, and they're like, you got to wake up. This is just 5G. This is what this is. It's FIVEG. And then somebody else will say, this is all about mandatory V's. And somebody else will say, no, well, this is all about, taking the chip, full beast system. Yeah, I think all those things are in play. We know the ultimate thing is this out in your face, completely Orwellian society, and also a manageable society. So I do think that there's a little population, shall we say, reductionism going on to a degree. I think there's a lot of things going on here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's a whole lot of stuff. It's like, I have a feeling, they say that saying, as above, so below. I think it's more than just this dimension. I think there's stuff going on, dimensions above us, and it's trickled down, and we're in chaos right now.
We are. So, and that's part of what we want to share with you guys. So I'm glad you guys are making the live for the first time. Mike C says, made a live. Cool. Glad. It's a full frontal attack. It's on many different levels. You guys know, Cindy and I both are huge into meditation, QiGong. We go inwards every single day. It's really, it's the highest priority we have, along with keeping you guys informed. And so there's things that we encounter in our daily lives, which I've shared with you guys at the expense of being thought of as being crazy. But yet I do believe that our reality is far wilder than what we've been led to believe. I do believe that we are in what we would call spiritual warfare. And I think some of you guys, might come from a traditional background spiritually and be calling something a demon that I might label an interdimensional being, but really we're talking about the same nasty entities is the bottom line. Chadesh culture, 741 hertz frequency, every day we are doing it. And I've noticed the difference. I really have. It feels really good to the system. But it doesn't matter. We should never fight about the labels, because while we're fighting about the labels, they're fighting us. That's the bottom line. And we are in a war. This is a big war. This is a physical war. It's a war that continues when you're sleeping. And so when we sleep, we are on what's called the astral plane. We're in 4D, fourth density. And this is where we are. We jump back and forth between 3D and 4D, but we're going to a higher level now. And that's why they're attacking us higher, because higher level as well, because they don't want us getting out of their reach. Thank you. Is that 20 Prosperity 12? Thank you so much for your support. Thanks for not being crazy. Well, thank you for saying that. My sister would disagree. I think my mother, as time went on, recognized that everything I ever talked about seemed like it started to manifest. My ex-wife says the same thing. She said, they might have thought, our families might have thought you were a little bit crazy. She said, but everything you said is coming true now. So she sees too, and that's part of the bigger picture. And, we're in a war, guys. And Cindy and I, we've dedicated so much time in our lives to developing intuition and all. Really, thousands and thousands and thousands of hours. In my case, I would say tens of thousands, I don't know, maybe hundreds of thousands of hours of meditation and QiGong. And, the thing is that we could see at times, and we know when there's things around us, and they're always around us, more lately than before. And Cindy's been getting a clearer and clearer picture during her meditations of a lot of things that are going on. And we'll probably share those on the second channel, which is EEARTS, because they're of a spiritual sort, and there's some people that just want updates in the news. So we won't go into quite as much depth here as we will over there, and be just totally, open about things, because there's still people that watch us all the time over here that, don't want to be exposed to certain things. But regardless of the labels, we are in a huge war, huge right now. This is big time.
It is, and like Michael was saying, it's multidimensional, and there is a war on our consciousness, a war on our beings, a war on our persons, a war on our relationships. Anything that will keep growth from happening, they're going to attempt to block it. And that's what I think is really important, that we need to stay focused and not separate, not distract from each other.
No, we got to come together. And, we have to get past the things that divide us. So I got the recommendation to check out this gentleman's channel, Spiro Skouras. He's got 16,000 subscribers. He does some pretty good info. And I would recommend you guys take a peek. This one, coronavirus endgame, the economic crisis, and the rollout of the new digital financial system. We know, and you could tell anytime somebody's setting on a topic and he's telling you the truth that people don't want you to hear, you're going to get those little labels there, like, contrails. You're not seeing CHEM trails, you're seeing CON trails.
Hold on. We have Grizzly doing what he does, and he says 5 bees stops bears from getting honey. Sorry, Grizzly.
Oh. I hope you have plenty of honey stocked up.
Yes.
There's a local place here that has some pretty yummy honey. Mm-hmm. And, we don't eat a lot of sugar, but we do have some honey in storage. And if you get locally made honey, it really is an immune system booster. Mm-hmm. And I don't need any sugar in anything. That's just me. But every now and then I'll take some just because I think it's beneficial. Not often, but, here and there. So you can see some of the stuff that he's talking about. And I have not talked to him personally, although I am in contact with quite a few different channels on a daily basis. It is a follow the money situation. You got to follow the money. You really do. So I got the link for you guys. All the links are there. Yeah, there's a bigger thing going on here, most definitely. This is upping the ante to a different level. And these two, well, what should I call them? What should I call these two?
I don't know. They're like white devils.
Yeah, actually it looks like he's got his draconian skin coming out.
Devil a bad name. I shouldn't say that.
Well, yeah, if you really do want to talk about devil in the flesh, here you go, between the Rothschilds and the Rockefellers. And this is something that Spiro put together. The UN and the central banks, a Rockefeller-Rothschild coup. And I've done videos early on talking directly about this stuff. And then to get approached directly by Illuminati forces saying, join us. We'd like to have you join us. Please, come, join us. Join the party. Be part of it. You'll never need anything again. But you just can't do that. Yeah, I mean, well, you guys couldn't do it, I think. You guys out in the chat, I couldn't do it. And it is a freaking coup when you look at it. When you really look deep, it's absolute BS. They call things something that it is not, but they label it something that they want you to think it is. Like when we talk about the Federal Reserve, it's private banks. They're private banks, guys. Where do your tax dollars go? Well, they end up going, a lot of them, to the IMF, the International Monetary Fund, where these guys take your tax dollars, which equals all the time you're working, you're slaving away, and then they loan them out to other places, other countries, at, of course, a nice, hefty interest rate. 2 dynasties, 1 world. This is their vision. And so, when we look at like George Soros as well, recognize that all these guys, some people think all the Democrats are evil and the Republicans are saints. It's not the case, Look at what happened on George Bush's watch, PNAC, Project for a New American Century. That whole thing came about. The new Pearl Harbor came about under the Republicans. Both are controlled by these corporate interests, which the corporate interests are really the interests of these select families which have been with us for a very long time. They give us our politics. They give us our religions, and we have to recognize that too. They give us our dogma,
Our school, most important, our education period.
Yeah, I mean, they're the ones that mandate, what is and what isn't going to be our schooling. And they teach us false history. And of course, obviously, if you say something against that, you could get ostracized, just like Zero Hedge did on Twitter. But you know what? What Zero Hedge had said on Twitter, and then they had their account stopped, was totally damn accurate, completely true. And everybody's saying it now. But Zero Hedge has been really good too. I do enjoy going there because they talk about a lot of things. What we're seeing now is a huge change of the system. The system's changing now. It's morphing. That's part of this whole big thing. This is not just about fighting a virus. This is about changing a system and morphing it into something that will be even more Orwellian in nature. This is, manifesting something that's going to be, it's going to take away even more of our freedoms, ultimately. Saudi Arabia starts an all-out oil war. Wow. MBS destroys OPEC by flooding markets, slashing oil prices. And so, it sounds good to me. I have a big V8 truck. So, in that sense, yeah. Because what we're talking about, guys, is you might be seeing dollar gasoline again. Can you imagine that? You might be seeing dollar gasoline again. This is huge. So it's all about money, right? So, we talked about before, and I hope a lot of you guys realize, like, the U.S. went from being not a player, really, in oil production because of fracking and shale producers, right? The U.S. at one point in time rose from being nothing to being the top oil producer in the world. So, but what's at the expense of? Well, what it's going to cost us is even more intensive earthquakes when they come, for one. And the New Madrid, we've talked about it. It's only a matter of time. And, what the fracking is doing is it's setting us up to amplify the effects of all those earthquakes. Not only that, but it's poisoning the water supply. And so it's creating a lot of cancer in people. That's a big part of this. But you know what? It's made us richer. And it's gotten us more independent of OPEC. Even though when you get down to it, many people believe that ultimately there's this triumvirate going on of Saudi Arabia, Israel, and the U.S. in so many ways when it comes to manipulating all these markets. And of course, the dollar, the petrodollar has been the standard. And then we've seen the BRICS nations come up in opposition to that. And there's been a big battle going on there as well. This is huge. Here you see how Zero Hedge, Saturday, Saudi Arabia launched its second scorched oil campaign in 6 years. And this time there will be blood. So, following Friday's shocking collapse of OPEC when Russia and Riyadh were unable to reach an agreement during OPEC's Plus Summit in Vienna, which was seeking up to 1.5 million in further oil production cuts. See, we don't even have to be on oil at all, period. The whole system is all about control. When we look into what Tesla had discovered over 100 years ago, and we see the secret space program and these other secret programs showing anti-gravity, we don't need to be on this, but this is only a method of control. It's another way they control us. It's another way they consolidate power into their own hands. So now you're seeing, you can see that graph. Oil prices are dropping down tremendously. But of course, the world is getting quarantined.
Slow but sure. So, regardless of the belief systems, there's commonalities coming together. And I kind of am settling in on the thing today where we cannot let these differences separate us. And I know there's like an element of needing to respect another person's wishes, needs, and desires, and wants, and opinions, and everything. And this is something that has the ability to really rip people apart, because if it is real, like what they're saying is in China, How can you tell a family member, oh, you went out to the store, touched a bunch of stuff, and now you're going to give me this virus, it's going to kill me? That's where we all have to find some common ground somehow, some way, because we don't know the facts.
But we know the bigger plan and the bigger scope of things.
Yes, we do know the bigger plan. That helps.
So the Saudis plan big oil output hike, beginning all-out price war. And this is interesting to see because it feels like chaos is coming on many different levels. Chaos is coming on many, many different levels. So we started talking about the police and quarantining a California neighborhood after a coronavirus death. Just a little bit of a taste of what's to come. Just a little taste. This was just a neighborhood, wasn't a whole town, wasn't a whole state. Rockland, California. So they ordered residents on one residential street to stay inside their homes as officers in protective gear patrolled the area as the sheriff's helicopter circled overhead. And, we're going to see this more. And the reason was because the guy who became California's first victim to die lived on the block. So residents were kept in the dark until they were after they were allowed to leave their homes. So, that's just a taste of what's coming. Look at Italy, and you see where Italy is. Italy is, they are right at the beginning of what Wuhan started to see. And it does look like Italy and Iran are going to go the way of Wuhan. Anything could change, and there's really so much BS disinfo out there. It's hard to see what's going on. And you have here, the White House overruled health officials who wanted to recommend that elderly and physically challenged, physically fragile people avoid flying on commercial airplanes because of the coronavirus. So the White House overruled that. Okay, so why? Well, because money talks. It's all about you want commerce to go on. Unfortunately, we see that the almighty dollar, petrodollar, whatever it is, it seems to be more important than people's lives in the big scale of things. And here you see the Wall Street Journal, Italy plans large-scale lockdown in countries north to fight coronavirus. The quarantine, if approved, would ban movement into and out of the northern provinces, including Milan, Venice, and Parma. And, Venice has been fighting a lot of different issues as well with the flooding and then lack of water. It is a crazy time period that we live in. But basically about 25% of Italy would be on lockdown.
Yeah, that's quite a lot, and the numbers, again, you guys, they're still going up, not down. So it's not that we're sitting here fear-mongering. This is something that I feel is going to be changing lives and systems for years to come. I think this is a really important time in our history.
And there's many people that believe there's not a virus and it's not real, that it's just a simple cold or what have you, or a typical flu. I don't really even think that's the point, because the point is that we're getting into a lockdown. The point is that, they're building up for mandatory Vs. The point is we're going to be in a medical martial law. And the point is people are obviously dying, so whether it's really this, bioweapon that we know as COVID-19, or whether it's frequency along with nanobots, whether it's, who knows, a combination of different things, I think we need to take precautions as much as we can, because we don't want to let ourselves and our family and our loved ones end up either dead, obviously, or forced to take mandatory Vs, which we feel is coming. I think most people feel that's coming. Here we see out of Russia today, videos show aftermath of COVID-19 quarantine hotel collapsed in China after rescuers search for dozens trapped under the rubble. I've seen so many buildings on fire over there, houses on fire over there. Here you have a hotel that collapses. Was there an earthquake? Why did it collapse? Was it just convenient? We got to be suspicious about all these things. And then here out of Zero Hedge, Italy places Milan region under quarantine. First CV-19's linked death reported in Latin America. It's spreading everywhere now. At least, okay, so if it is just, and that's not a big just, I think it's even more terrifying to think of little NANOBOTSs floating through your bloodstream, being activated by wavelength and frequencies and causing massive hemorrhaging in your body, and people to go into what looks to be like epileptic shock and just dying instantaneously or having their hearts rupture. I don't know, maybe I'll take a virus over that. Either way you look at it, though, something's going on. And we know it's part of a bigger plan. That's just obvious. So, so much going on. Here you see 21 cases confirmed on the Grand Princess. You can't give away cruises right now. Boy, a cruise to Italy sounds beautiful, but now you couldn't even give them away. Illinois confirms 6 cases, shuts Chicago schools. South Korea reports 367 new cases, total up to 7,134. San Fran confirms 6 new cases. Italy quarantines half the country here, is saying. British Columbia confirms 6 cases. Spain quarantines a town. Quarantines are spreading. First case in D.C., U.S. death toll hits 19. New York hits 76 cases. And Australia reports its 3rd death. And when we come over here, we see we were talking about 2 different studies. This one study, and this is out of definitely a banned person. If you guys know Mike Adams, his name is not allowed on White Tea, and that's why we have Brightian. And so, shocking new study concludes that the best case scenario for CV-19 pandemics, 15 million dead. We were talking also about that study last night too. So, more and more it's looking 1918-ish in so many ways. CDC refused to test Miami woman for the new CV-19, even after she tested positive for earlier strains. And there again, hey, we have a shortage of kits. Hey, no, we never had a shortage of kits. Right. You're giving us whiplash, Beijing doctors say Wuhan is like hell on earth. Outbreak far worse than officially reported. As we see these little mobile crematoriums there as well. What really is going on in China? I mean, are they really having it almost slow down to almost nothing? Because that's what their numbers are saying.
Yeah, it's like confusion is the name of the game. So that's why it's really important that I feel it's really important we get together and connect with you guys every day so we can sort of pick through this. And, I love reading your opinions in the comments because we're all a little tiny piece of the puzzle. We all have something to contribute, and between all of us, we'll be closer to the truth.
As you see here, Chinese officials are not using proper quarantine measures. Well, they're sending people back to work now because the economy is starting to fail. And as you see here, FIVEG is the gateway to brain damage and to manipulations of your health and mind. So I think most of us are very aware of the dangers of FIVEG. It's a military application. That's the bottom line. That's where it comes out of, And so the thing, we are curious about is where the deaths are. Is that locations where there is FIVEG? Or is that where maybe there's mild cases? What do you guys think?
It's like, oh wait, did I miss Grizzly?
You did.
Oh no, really? I'm hearing people are dying to take a cruise these days. Sorry.
Well, I had promised Cindy a cruise for a honeymoon, and unfortunately, I don't know. There was just something there. I mean, we were going to go see my mom before she passed on.
Important. It was super important.
But I just knew there was something coming, and this was in November, so we ended up canceling that whole line of thinking, and this is why. And then I was like, I want to go see friends and family members, and I think we missed CA too. Oh, Zeke. Hey, brother Zeke.
This virus is here now.
Virus is here at Jasper Park Lodge Hotel. 2 employees confirmed. Your town, 5,000 people. I know you're out there. Where he is, there's not a ton of people. He's relatively isolated, and there you got 2 cases. And if we're able to travel, I'm still going to come see you in the summer when it's nice and warm up where you are, because you are pretty far up, at least from us where we are here. Well, I hope so. Marlon says, after the spring, things should be fine for travel. I certainly hope so. I know there's different thoughts. I know a lot of you guys believe in Q, follow Q, and then there's those that think Q is just basically President Trump or one of his, one of his aides. But the thing is, now we are in 2020, and so we are in the 4th year. We heard about arrests that were going to be happening, massive arrests and all this. And I even made a video on it too, showing a bump on Hillary's leg one time early on. Does she have an ankle bracelet on? And others as well. McCain, did he have an ankle bracelet on? Were they under house arrest? Is this part of the big cleansing of the bad guys? And I certainly hope so. Of course I hope so. I want that to be the case. Do I trust it? No, not at all. Not at all. I just feel that, honestly, I don't think we have a true enough system that I don't believe our votes count. When we see, George Soros owning so many of the companies that count the votes, I think it's all scripted. I think it's a big play. Yeah. It's just a big play. And, again, I think that there's actors going on. I would love to see that. I would so love to see, the house cleaned and all the pedophiles taken away and us getting a fresh start. But it just doesn't feel like it is real. And what feels more real to me is Project Z, Y, PHER. And the roundup is going to be of PATRIOTSs, not Clintons, not Obamas, not Bushes, right, not Pelosi's, not Soros. I think the roundup is going to be of you and me, well, me especially, and other guys like me, and Cindy now, unfortunately, since she married into this EEA family.
How could I not? You're so wonderful, adorable.
Oh, she's going to make me blush, guys. But, that's what I feel is the case. Tana says we're paranoid. I guess, that's what 40 years plus of research will do, because you recognize things. Was I paranoid because I threw the microwave out? Was I paranoid because, the nonstick pans that would get scratched, in my mind, would leak cancerous materials? And now they admit that they do. Paranoid about putting your cell phone to your head when I would get a headache from doing that, and then thinking, well, I bet you this is putting out a frequency that's going to, give you brain tumors. Well, you know what? Nope, that's been verified too. We could go on down the line on paranoid. Not paranoid, awake. That's the difference. Totally awake. And, I just don't buy it at all. It's not being paranoid. No, but Q is a psyop. That's the bottom line. And for me, it just seems so easy to see and so obvious. I don't know how people can't believe that's a psyop. I just think that people want to believe, honestly. I think that's the bottom line. We need something to believe in. We need a savior. We want the Lone Ranger, for those of you that are older, to come, and rescue us. And, we might view it in many different ways. We want the person in the white hat to come rescue us. But we got to do this ourselves, because nobody's going to rescue us. We are the ones we're waiting for. And Mirror brings in Jesus 2,000 years later. It hasn't come yet. It's an internal thing as well. We have to be the change. We have to manifest this ourselves. And I know that doesn't ring with a lot of people, but I do think that that's part of the bigger picture as well. If you look at the prophecy of the Rainbow Warriors, it's going to be people from all different, it's all about the world coming together. Nothing that divides. Christ is the way, and that his way was peace and love. And his way was, you slap me on one face, I'll turn the cheek to a degree. Yet there is a time for us to be strong as well, and to just say, no, we're not going to put up with it anymore.
And yeah, I mean, I understand that, it looks like our president is like going against certain information. There's certain information coming in, but ultimately it's just all a big play. All of it. I mean, all of it is a big play. He has a part to play, and they're counting on us to pick a side. They're counting on us to get angry with each other. That's the part we're supposed to play. And I'm saying, just stop. Listen to your heart.
Nathan says, relax. Once YouTube goes down, they won't care about you. That's when there'll be peace. And believe me, that's where I'm looking for the most. Right now, there's work to be done. And there's work to be done on many different levels. Most definitely. But it's never about the self. It's about the bigger picture. That's the whole key to everything. It's never about the self. If it was about the self, I wouldn't have basically been living out a car twice in like the last 10 years. And right now, I could have done things that would make money. I could do a lot more advertising, things like that. I don't want to be a part of this world in this sense. I don't want to be a part of this matrix. And the matrix is evil. Now, we could choose to live well in the matrix if we play with their system and play nice. But that's not why a lot of us are here. We're here to break the freaking matrix down. We're here to see the system crumble. We're here to get rid of the beings that are ruling this planet, like the Rothschilds and the Rockefellers and the like, all these families. And things need to be changed on a big, big level, because the system that's in here right now is an evil system. It's evil. Plain and simple, live in a car, try a cave. We know a good cave. It's a little bit small, but, we do know a good cave. And we're going to be living completely off-grid very, very soon. And we'll be off-grid. And Cindy's not looking forward to this in 110-degree heat, no AC. But we're going to do it. And it's just going to make us stronger as we actually, build an off-grid home on a tiny little piece of the desert.
It's going to be interesting. Zeke's not looking forward to it either. So thank God it's going to be me and Zeke against Mike and Sassy for war for getting extra AC, maybe.
Well, we're just going to dig down.
We will.
We're digging into the earth, and that's what we're going to do, because, it's all about utilizing what's available as well and living simply. So here we see, and check this out, guys. Huawei helps fight coronavirus by building FIVEG base stations in Wuhan. Yeah, there you go. And Wuhan is ground zero for FIVEG in China. Is it any wonder?
Hi, Miss Dragon. Q, psyops or not, has taught us to dig for information ourselves rather than being told what to believe. Maybe why there is the idea of Q. Thank you so much, Miss Dragon, for your words, your support, and everything else. And there is a purpose for everything. Everything has a purpose. We need to find what's going to work for each and of our own for ourselves. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sister. We appreciate you and much love. And here you see, this is out of the Middletown Press in my home state, Connecticut. Anti-V lobbyists blast lawmakers who question funding. So a lot of states are in a battle right now that if this outbreak didn't happen, things might turn out different. But with this outbreak happening, there's going to be an awful lot of mandatory Vs for everyone, galore. Who knows what's going to be flooding into your bloodstream soon that you are not going to have a choice over. And so, I would love to believe in Q. And yes, I do understand. Look for yourselves. Look deeper down the rabbit hole. Most definitely, keep going down that rabbit hole. But be suspicious of everything. Don't believe anything blindly. And look for the bigger picture and look for, the reason why. When we look at, say, President Trump, for instance, a lot of people had very, very high expectations. He's been quoted and he has spoken in a positive light about V's and about mandatory V's. Because, even if he did want to do otherwise, he can't because of the powers that be. So maybe he does want to do otherwise. But then again, he was a Democrat when you look back farther. And, definitely hobnobbed with the Clintons and other powers that be and hired a Rothschild on and also is indebted to the Rothschilds. So, it's a very tangled web that is woven. And here you see, this is about the U.S. deaths going up to 19. France now has 949. It's really spread fast over there. COVID-19 cases, including 3 in the National Assembly, which is the lower house of Parliament. Oh boy, it's pretty wild what we're watching going on. 45 in ICU, 16 have died. And this is Dr. Dina Grayson again. She's led the fight against Ebola. And also, she's expecting a lot more cases and also lockdowns in France. Here, this is Max Haurut. A final chance to evacuate from CV-19 red zone. People rush to catch the last trains leaving Lombardy. This is in Italy. After the government declared quarantine and lockdown of 16 million people in northern Italy. Mandatory quarantine is going to last to early April at the earliest. Chances are it's going to go past that. Think about that, guys. Think about it. Are you ready to spend a couple months, 2-3 months in your house? Are you ready for that?
We are. We're good to go.
We are. Shoot, we hardly ever leave this freaking room.
Yeah, no, we're in good company.
Except for to make dinner. So,
yeah.
But, look at the people rushing out now, getting ready for what's coming. And, this is going to be a mental and emotional test for all of us. As we see the Pope, Vatican confirms Pope Francis and 2 aides test positive for coronavirus. And I don't know who he's kissing over there. It looks like a kiss. But did you guys, and I've played this several times, did you guys see that lady in January? It was January. Mm-hmm. This Chinese lady that grabs the Pope's hand and holds onto it, won't let go. And I've played this several times till he gets to the point where he slaps her. He slaps her hand away. Some people have come forward and said that she was talking about basically giving him something, giving him a gift. Did she really? Gotta wonder.
I know, and you guys are really quick. I know a couple people caught on to that right away earlier in chat. They remembered that.
And we have the coronavirus in Queensland. State goes into war mode. 14th case confirmed. And this is another person in Iran. And she recently was elected MP for a new parliament. Fatima Rabar has died. And I don't know her official age, but I would guess she's in her 30s or 40s. Probably 40s. Do you know how many people in the Iranian government have died from this? It's huge. It's crazy huge. You gotta wonder. Here you see Iran's former Minister of Interior and ex-Minister of Justice, Mustafa Hamadi, was infected with CV-19, now has recovered and was discharged from the hospital. So there was another one I wanted to get to. Iran is a mess. It's a mess right now. You see 1,234, 1, 2, 3, 4. New cases have been confirmed to be infected with CV-19 in Iran. Increase in number to 47. Look at all the numerology. with 17 more deaths. The number of people who have died of COVID-19 is now 124 people. 913 people have recovered, supposedly. Yeah, Iran's been slammed. And this is Helen Branswell. She's done a great job covering things. China's confirmed CV-19 cases are getting to very low levels. Only 44 new cases on March 7th and 27 deaths. In total, China has confirmed 80,695 cases, 3,097 deaths, and 57,065 people have recovered. I don't know. Nobody knows exactly what's going on. Maybe the game player is at the very, very top of the pyramid, so to speak. Maybe the actual all-seeing eye knows what's going on. One of the things that I've always suspected was that if you release something in your own country, and then, right away everybody was saying it's targeting Asian people, and then now we see what it being brutal in Iran and in Italy and in other European countries speeding up really quick. Maybe it wasn't. And, how much can they program these things to change over time? We do have two different types out there. We know that. So what if it was the opposite? What if it was released in their own country to make it look, and again, I go back to the art of war, feign strength when you're weak, feign weakness when you're strong. China and U.S. on a collision course at some time in history. Sometime. There's no way around this. And I've run through many different scenarios. I've looked at historians talking about this. So what if this was really something that was biowarfare? They released it in their own country, took acceptable losses. They have 1.6 billion people. And now what if it comes over here and decimates it so that, us and the NATO countries end up getting that Deagle.com figure as far as like the U.S. going from 330 million people down to 99 million or 100 million. It's all conjecture. It's all guesswork. We don't know. It could have been the opposite way, or who knows? We really don't know. We're all still kind of guessing at this point. So 8 new cases in Santa Clara. I think there's 32 altogether there. Unknown origin, meaning, again, this is endemic. Endemic means, hey, we have, when you have endemic in so many different countries across the globe, you got a pandemic. But, WHO is not going to tell you so.
Use the P word.
WHO is not going to tell you so.
No, they won't. I didn't make it rhyme as crazy.
Because they'll be out of 500 mil.
They will. Just that little amount. I guess that much money bothers them. But I think people get rich because they are a little bit like that with their money. They don't want to lose it.
True. And, again, it's all about the shareholders, unfortunately. 13 additional cases of CV-19 in New York State since earlier today. Total of 89. Boy, that went to 89 quick, didn't it? Westchester, 70. 11 in Nassau, 4 in Rockland, 2 in Saratoga. Have you ever been in Saratoga, New York State? It's beautiful. It really is. It's really a pretty place up there. New York State itself is gorgeous. It's really a pretty area. Very, very different than New York City, which, I can never live in, but I could manage to get to a couple of the Italian restaurants for a little bit. Got some great Italian food.
That sounds fun if this ever passes.
So we have a U.S. Marine assigned to Fort Belvoir in Virginia, testing positive today, being treated at Fort Belvoir Community Hospital. He has returned recently from overseas where he was on official business. I wonder where. So U.S. corona cases now at 437. That's going up. And over here we see COVID-19 has potential to become as severe as the Spanish flu. That's what we're seeing now. I mean, a lot more experts are coming out and saying, yeah, this does look like it could end up being about on the par with the Spanish flu. Well, when you see the RO number, it's 3 times as much, so I don't know. We'll see, and there's so many different factors involved in here. And so here you see the head of Lombardi's intensive care crisis unit says the health system is on the brink of collapse. I don't think it's peaked there yet. But boy, they're getting hit hard. Intensive care being set up in hallways. Wow, that sounds like Wuhan. By March 26, they predict 18,000 CV-19 cases, of which 3,000 are going to need intensive care. And yet we still have Bike Week going on in Daytona. I've been there before. I've seen the crowds. Not a good scenario. 500,000 people coming on in. All these type of events need to be canceled. I'm sorry, guys. They just need to be canceled right now. You got to kind of play on the side of caution, you know?
Yeah.
So looking at Florida Department of Health, right here there's an advisory. Anybody that traveled on a river cruise, Nile River in Egypt from February 4th to 18th, you should isolate for 14 days. Let's hope that they do. Let's hope that they check this out too, you know? 2 new presumptive cases in Florida, one in Okaloosa County, the other one in Volusia County. Both individuals are isolated. It is increasing everywhere we look. And so is this, the rush for TP. Get your TP now. But you know what I've noticed too? Amazon sent me a notice. You know what it said?
What?
Bidets are on sale.
Oh, wow. That's a thought.
You know, we might laugh about that, but I think more and more people are seriously considering bidets.
Well, you know, I heard it is like cleaner and stuff, and maybe I would rather do that than the other.
Yeah, I mean, what's going to happen when you run out of TP?
Right. Yeah. I mean, it's going to be bad and gross.
We're all going to be doing Beavis and Butthead. You guys remember? I need TP for me, Bungol.
That's wrong.
I mean, seriously, you're seeing this runs. We watched 3 ladies fist fighting, and they weren't getting ready for tonight's fights in Vegas. They were fist fighting over a thing of toilet paper. Crazy. So here you see state releases more information about confirmed case in Minnesota. And Argentina, a 64-year-old man has died as a result of coronavirus as well. There's a lot going on right now with self-isolation as well. Over here you see a doctor in Victoria, Australia, tested positive. I don't know why some people are still calling it SARS-CoV-2, some COVID-19, some just saying coronavirus. Well, he appeared to have been infected in the U.S. He traveled to Denver, Vail, San Francisco, and LA. Oh, well, he did his job at spreading, didn't he?
And Grizzly, thank you for your support. If I run out of TP, we're going to find out if a bear really in the woods.
Okay, can I share a story with you guys? Back when we were young, we used to go camping on a moment's whim. We would just go into upstate Connecticut, upstate New York. And so we just got, this is like, 18, 19-year-old kids. We just felt like, let's just go on a camping trip, spur of the moment. So we went on a camping trip. Nobody brought the teepee. Nobody brought the teepee, guys. Let's see, David A., thank you for your support. He says, how about China sending lasers at U.S. Navy patrol plane in South China Sea? U.S. Navy replied and says they don't want to play laser tag with us. Yeah, I saw that. I mean, I talked about that briefly on one video. Believe me, it's big and it's real. There is a power struggle. So while there are puppet masters at the very highest level that are controlling everything, the ones underneath it, everybody, these people have egos. They have egos. They want to be the top dog. And so most definitely there's infighting. Just look at the Sumerian legends. And they talk about the quote-unquote Anunnaki gods. They're always fighting with each other. They always want to be the top god, so to speak, even though none of them are gods. They're just beings like us, maybe a little bit more technically advanced. And so John says you're being a little flippant while talking about our children's deaths. I think we get punch struck a little bit at times. And so, a little levity is not a bad thing when, basically 24/7, 365, it's death and destruction. So no, I wouldn't say it's flippant. I would say it's a little bit more of, we got enough down and depression going on, and when you go through something like this, it takes a lot out of you, and it really drags you down energetically. So, getting back to the situation anyway. So we went on a camping trip, and there was no teepee. And so, unfortunately, one of the crew ended up using poison ivy, and it wasn't a pleasant scene. You could always use leaves.
No.
So the moral of the story is, if you have leaves around, you could use leaves, but make sure it's not poison ivy or poison oak.
Leaves of 3, leave it be, kids.
There you go. That says it. So yeah, they're saying that the Pope does have it. Mackinac Forever as asking, they're saying he did test positive. So how long do we have to live? 2 months? The Spanish flu came and went, and it did kill a lot of people, 50 to 100 million. But the world goes on, and the same is going to be the case with this. It's not like we're all going to die from this. And there's, unfortunately, this is the world that we live in. There are things like Ebola. I mean, we've seen such horrible plagues upon this planet. We've seen swine flu, which has wiped out at least a quarter of the population of pigs. We see birds dropping out of the sky by the hundreds or thousands every single day. I saw up close and personal and smelt it too, the red tide in Florida, which hit my lungs hard, and it took me a long time to recover from it, honestly. I saw countless fish, dead on the beach. There were dolphins on the beach, dead, even a whale, and all sorts of sea life. We've seen so many die-offs. It's just incredible. And again, the system has to change. All this is a symptom of a very, very sick world. A world that is living in a system that doesn't really care about life when you get down to it. It doesn't prioritize life. It prioritizes profits at the expense of life. That's the big picture here, and that's what we have to wake people up to so that we will no longer go along with it. And so when we see things like they're throwing another tax break out, and some people are just like almost laughing about it because a tax break is supposed to make everything fine. Everything fine. Oh, you mean we're going to get a tax break? Oh, okay. Well, then go ahead, jab my arm. Go ahead. Don't worry. I'll just hole up in my house for the next 3 months. We're going to get a tax break, guys. It's okay. No, it's a sick system. The system is sick. The system needs to change, and it needs to change at a very fundamental level. So here we're looking at some more info coming out from Dr. Ian MacKay as well. Basically, this is contradictory to what we have seen, and he's quoting Dr. Kritika Kupali, saying that basically when you get this virus, you could still recover just like any other virus. And while I think about it, click the follow and just check up on her. Now that's not what we've heard though, because we've heard of many people getting this and then still testing positive. And here we see another LAX screener test positive for coronavirus in LA County. Cases rise to 13. And of course these screeners, think about all the people that are saying, hey ma'am, put your stuff over here, come here. What if they even pat you down, and they're breathing on you, and then yet the screener has it?
Thank you, Miss Funny. Anderson, slip me a message if you know of another cave.
We're maybe tomorrow would be a good day to take a hike, go back up to that one spot, because we saw some that looked way up on top of a ridge that looked pretty precarious, like a couple of 10,000-pound boulders might crush us on the way. But if we side skirt those boulders and get to the cave, it looked pretty interesting.
It did.
So we'll let you know, Fawny, and thank you so much for your support as well. And I hope you guys don't mind me being a little bit silly at times, because honestly, covering this has been very depressing, and it can get to be very depressing. Cave big enough for an RV? Ooh, I don't think that big. But, you know, we found a lot of caves out here. We really have.
Actually, here it's kind of a mining area, so you could, in theory, drive an RV in some of these caves they have that tunnel into the mountains. They're huge.
Yeah, there's a lot of mining going on, which there's a lot of gold, supposedly, in the area as well. And that gets me back to the reason why 85% of Nevada is owned by the federal government. Interesting. I wonder if the Anunnaki still have their hands on that.
Right.
So Steve Lookner, he does a great job. I love Steve. I really do. I enjoy his coverage. He's so thorough. He says the Royal Princess cruise has been canceled. Passengers waited all day in LA to board, but reportedly a crew member from the Grand Princess had transferred to the Royal Princess, and that led to the cruise being canceled. Passengers not happy. Well, who's going on a cruise now in the first place? I can't believe there's still people going on cruises. Like this gentleman says, alive? Not happy? Okay, well, better mad than dead. Yeah, I agree. I mean, who would go on a cruise right now? I can't think of it. And I love cruises.
I know, right? Yeah, I know. I mean, even after, like, I think they have a lot of the 5G on there, which does tear the DNA. So I don't know.
Yeah, once she discovered just how potent their 5G systems are on this ship, she's like, I don't want to go on a cruise.
Yeah, no, I'm not so hot to go now.
No. And this is out of Thailand Medical News. Iranian government totally incompetent at handling crisis. MP dies, 144 dead, 5,823 infected, 16,725 hospitalized. Well, it may just be me, but it feels like they were hit unusually hard. We'll see, Voluntary quarantine requested of people who participated in Special Olympics basketball tournament. Omaha, Nebraska.
Let's begin tracking the path of possible exposure from Nebraska's first case of corona.
So yeah, and we have family members in Omaha. I have a cousin over in Lincoln. I don't know if you guys are in the house or not, but yep, be aware of this as well. 36-year-old woman diagnosed with coronavirus attended the tournament. Now health officials want the players, the coaches, the staff, everybody, to limit their exposure.
Coronavirus.
These are the times that we got, guys. These are the times. New Zealand hospitals stretched the breaking point already as dozens of staff self-isolate. We're seeing all across the globe now. And that's only New Zealand's 5th case. And they're stretched to the limit? That's not a good sign, guys. That's not a good sign.
No, it's not. So, we just need to kind of keep after it, keep watching, keep sticking together, keep supporting each other, and playing nice.
Most definitely. Be supportive of each other. The Schumann is high. The Schumann has been really pretty wild. And let's take a peek over there while we're speaking about it, because everything is changing. We're changing. The planet's changing. And it looks like we're in a peak period right now developing as well. We're showing 41 right now. Base frequency is 7.83 hertz. The consciousness of everything on our planet is changing. That's the bottom line. And that's really why we're seeing all this, in my opinion. In my opinion, things are changing to the point where the powers that be are going to find it hard to maintain their grip on humanity. And that's why the attack on humanity has gone to a much higher level. 3 additional coronavirus cases confirmed in Georgia. Here we see a man who was tested for coronavirus and was instructed to self-isolate. Well, instead he worked several shifts at a major hotel in Australia. Yeah, so think about it. He's in a major hotel. Maybe he's cleaning your room. Maybe he's touching everything you're touching, and it lasts and transfers for 9 days. And then you go in there and you pull up the blankets, bring them up over to your chin.
Yeah.
And breathe in.
I know, that's terrible. It's terrible. Henry Brown, how many more cases we need before massive quarantine in the U.S.? SMH. They keep saying it's just flu under 50. Don't worry. Plus, only worried about economy. That's right. And we've already surpassed the number of ones that were. What was that other one that you did this morning? We already surpassed H1N1, right?
Well, I mean, the death rate is like 3 times. Yeah, I mean, well, I should say like 30 times actually, H1N1 back in 2009. So, yeah, no, this is totally different. And it's weird. It's more than weird how it's being treated. Honestly, it's crazy. It doesn't make any sense. So, if you're trusting in your government to be loaded with people that are very high IQ and have the highest integrity and morals, it might be a little bit misplaced.
Right. It is all about like integrity and morals and stuff like that. And this is not that.
No, not at all. And so hand sanitizers are sold out. So here's how you make your own. And really, when you get down to it, the number one active ingredient is alcohol. As it says here, your 2 main things for disinfecting are alcohol or bleach. And this actually has down here some homemade recipes how to do it. I have the links there for you guys as well. Not too hard. You just need a big mixing bowl, a whisk. You need some measuring cups, funnel, empty pump bottles or small containers. There you go, 91% alcohol. Aloe vera, easy on your skin. Great for the digestive tract as well, as long as you get food grade. No chemical additives. We put aloe vera in shakes too, of which we haven't done enough shakes lately, but that's partially because we haven't been shopping like we do. So usually we have an abundance of produce, and now we're just, we're getting what the local farmer has. And so that's really changed our life a lot. But, pretty damn simple, really. You can make it so easy on yourself as well. So go ahead and stock up, guys, because there's a run on everything from TP to the hand sanitizers right now.
Yeah, right. I mean, mostly the TP, which is understandable.
And Henry, thank you, as always, for your support. There's so many of you guys that are so dedicated. And, I thank you guys for dealing with us, dealing with my sense of humor at times when I feel a little bit punch struck by everything that's going on. The one thing I'm going to be is myself, because, this is our channel. And so I'm going to be myself. And hopefully you like me. If you don't, that's fine too. Because I don't care about money, so to speak. You need money to live. But my whole life I've made choices that were not prevalent. They were not all about the money. I've turned down promotions. I've left the corporate world making good money because I don't believe in the system. I don't like the system. I know that's what's keeping us enslaved. And so I'll never prioritize it. So I'll never be that guy. And I love Steve Lookner. I love him. And he does a great job. But you know what? I'm not going to wear a freaking tie again. Yeah, I'm never going to wear a tie again. I wore a tie for years. I'm not going down that route. I'm going to be me. And I encourage you to be you. Because we're not happy unless we're truly being who we are at heart. You're going to need to really come to terms with who you are. That's part of this whole time period. And, who you are, there's nothing wrong with that. Each one of us are beautiful beings. Like Cindy, to me, Cindy is just the nicest, most wonderful person I think I've ever met. And, I love her like so much, so completely. She's just the most beautiful soul. I see her soul. And, so that's the way we have to look at each other too, and you can't be that way unless you're being yourself. Instead of being who society wants you to be, being who the man wants you to be, being who your company, the corporation wants you to be, dangling that carrot in front of you. Hey, you're doing a good job, pat you on the back. If you just do this, then maybe you'll get a raise. Maybe you'll get that promotion. I played that game for years, and it doesn't lead to personal satisfaction. My parents never owned anything, and neither parent ever made more than $20,000. We always lived, basically week to week, table to mouth. And it was okay because they were happy. They didn't need anything. They were happy. They loved each other. So everybody's different in that sense. But we have to be true to ourselves and who we are, and not let society define who we are. And that's part of what's going on right now. They want us to be part of the Borg. And thank you, Henry, for the support as well. It may infect 1 million people. It may infect way more than 1 million, honestly, by the time this is all done. We shall see. But I think the bigger picture is we got to be ourselves. We got to find out who we are, what our purpose is in this life, and live it. That's why people are going the tiny house route. That's why people are getting off grid. That's why people are saying, screw it. I'm not going to do 9 to 5 anymore. And this is from a person that did more of a 7 to 7, 6 days a week for over a decade, many decades, and so we need to break free of this system. And the system is trying to pull us in, guys. And we have to say, screw it. I'm going to be me, and I'm going to find my way. And I have brothers and sisters out there. I have a lot of family. There's a lot of people out there that don't want to be a part of the system anymore, and are ready to take a chance and take a step. And nuclear quantum lasers, I love you, but I'm sorry, man. Israel's going to take care of business tonight. Adesanya is going to take care. You're going to see he's going to make Yoel look a little bit slow. He's big and strong, yeah, but you're going to see.
Yeah, I stand in the background and I kind of watch this. It's pretty interesting. But yeah, it's about being yourself. It's about being a good person. It's about standing behind what you believe in. And, I'll live under a bridge and I will go without forever and a day before I ever, step back into the corporate world. And that goes for both of us. We got each other's back, and this way we can reach you guys. We can give you guys information that's important and maybe help you out a little bit. Hopefully one of us have said something that touched another person that's going to make your day just a little bit sweeter. And that's what it's all about.
View from Above says, you guys work for Mossad. Oh my God. That's hilarious. So who is this View from Above? And that's why I've exposed so much stuff along the lines of exposing exactly what the Mossad's all about. Yeah, sure. So people, when you look at this, there's a lot of people that are on government payrolls. There are a lot of people. Oh shoot, Henry's watching the UFC fights. Oh man, we got to get going because we got to watch the fights too, guys. But yeah, there's we've talked about pay trolls. We've talked about, there's a lot of that. It's pretty obvious to see it, and then there's people that just joke around. That's fine too. As Candy says, we are spirit, not skin suit. Right. Exactly. Deaden the senses. See with heart conscience. That's beautiful. We're separated by lies. Now that's a beautiful statement, and that's a lot of truth right there, and that is a wise individual. So much love, and thank you for that statement. Thank you guys so much for your support. As always, we love you guys. You're beautiful. God bless and namaste.
God bless and namaste.